Was that the countdown? Are we going?
Yeah, that was the
Well,
countdown.
we'll just it'll be what it is. We'll just,
Are we gonna do the
cut it in post.
white blood cells?
Hey, I've thought about this, you guys. I'm not changing this name, all right? You can keep browbeating me up this. I'm not. The more I get more and more confirmed.
You're gonna
every-
be digging into the ground. Why didn't my show ever take off at 80 years old? How come I got 2 listeners today?
This is a medical podcast.
Yeah, right.
It's gonna
Right?
get-
It's all about
Dang. More stuff on cancer. I don't want to hear a cancer podcast.
All right, let's change the subject. What are we here to talk about?
Isn't there like a happy medium? Like just leave the word blood in it somehow, and
White cells?
or even better, just leave white in it. You might piss off a lot of people, but a lot of people watch it.
White.
Yeah.
Whitey,
White.
just the Whitey podcast. You look like Whitey. You look like Whitey, the infamous gangster from Chicago, Whitey Bulger. You do. Okay, this is where he's got a flash Whitey Bulger on the screen.
Whitey Bulger. I like it. They made a movie out of that, didn't they?
Yeah, no, in all seriousness, that's it. Just Whitey podcast.
Yeah, that's a lightning rod for sure, isn't it?
Hey, dude, come on. They have ebony.
They do. I know. They do. They just didn't totally shadow ban Ebony, did they?
No.
They will shadow ban us if we call it white.
I don't know.
I don't know. So what's going on out in Cali, dude? What's
a lot of rumors. A lot of rumors. A lot of false, hopefully, information coming out. There's supposed to be some gigantic. No, there's this guy. He was in the 90s and he used to read the internet. He had a computer. He'd read the internet, analyze, and he was able to predict up to 10 years in the future exactly what was going to happen. And it was just by the data that was transmitting through the internet. And that's kind of what we're going through right now with what's being said. There's a lot of stuff being said. One of them is, like you listen to Elon Musk's wife talk about how there's going to be a mass extinction event in the future. And then the guy from Time Magazine just glazes over that, just totally ignores her saying a lot of people are going to die. And then she doubles down and says it again. And then you have Elon Musk saying it in a different way. And you have.
Well, that's why they're building those bunkers, right? They're all building those underground bunkers. Isn't there supposed to be some sort of like asteroid that hits the Earth like in 2029 or something like that?
Dude, the biggest tidal wave in the world, right? I don't know.
Yeah, have you seen the movie Deep Impact?
Oh, yeah.
Predictive programming, bro. Have you ever heard of it?
What's that other movie with Matt Damon about the COVID thing from 2011? What's that movie?
There was a show about exactly how COVID went down in 2005. I put a copy of the show on my hisadvocates.org for people, or hisadvocates.tv.
The movie, and it's
Outbreak or something like that.
It's similar to Outbreak, but it's not called that. Matt Damon did it. But it's an almost exact replica of what actually happened in COVID. But the movie was made in 2011.
Do you think it's because of a lack of white blood cells that you're not able to remember that?
See, now we're getting somewhere, aren't we?
Hey, dude, I'm trying to pump your show right now.
Thank you. Oh, everybody out there knows what white blood cells of our human culture are. They're men. And so this is a big point that I've been just stewing about. I watched the movie The Red Pill again. Do you guys know that movie, The Red Pill?
Yeah.
Yeah,
of course.
That with the chick. And that's a really eye-opening movie if she took it, like if she made a sequel to that movie and told why they are marginalizing men. Right? It's not a sociological, just a natural sociological event. They're purposely marginalizing men. And that's never touched on, and which is probably smart that she didn't or touched on it. But I think a sequel would make a lot of sense to start saying why they're marginalizing men.
Well, the same reason why they're putting fluoride in our water.
They're making the frogs gay.
But I heard white blood cells can help frogs turn straight.
White blood cells can help all that stuff. See, you're making my point more and more, and thank God you keep bringing it up because this is what I've been doing up in the morning every night for the last 3, 4
We
months since
got
we
you
last
thinking
got
about
on
this.
here, thinking about this very thing
I'm
and
down.
and confirming my idea that I want to keep this name. But all those things you talked about, the gay frogs or, the fluoride in the water, it's harder to prove that that's happening. It's not hard to prove that men are marginalized, is it? Go to a jail and look at the, population of men versus women in a jail. That's all you need to know to confirm that they are marginalizing men intentionally in this country. Now, that's not the only place you see it. Just watch an episode of The Simpsons.
Yeah,
What do you guys think?
any of those, almost everything on YouTube now is something to steer women away from men and men to never want to marry. And I think that whole conversation is kind of a sad thing when you start to realize that most most of these women are outside of the desired goal of a wife of a man these days because they've been either promiscuous or they've been, what have you. And they don't, they think that just because they've been able to bag a bunch of dudes that were all tens, that they're a 10 now and that they're marriage material. And unfortunately, we live in a society that's degrading itself by the minute. And pretty soon, and we already are on the negative 2.1. We're way under what we should be for a family to be able to keep America reproducing.
Well, do
You
you know
know,
what the funny thing I've thought about too is that the solution might not be with men. Like it might not be to get men to engage in their traditional role, but it might be to convince the women that they're the ones that need to be the solution. Because I'll tell you something about middle-aged women or gray divorced women. Ooh, that's a kind of a new term that I've learned recently. Gray divorce, because I'm in it. But I'm telling you something.
did you say the color gray divorced?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, people are waiting until their kids are out of the house and in
Yeah.
college, and then they're pulling the trigger on the divorce, even though they've been stewing about it for 10 or 15 years prior.
Yeah.
And the women of all the people in this thing are probably the most functional at understanding that a relationship with a man is a pretty necessary thing.
They don't think so. Not anymore.
Well, I beg to differ. I think they're getting a real steep learning curve into the fact that they do need a man. And then now they don't understand exactly why, I don't think. And if you got to go back to traditional family values to understand it, but they do. I think they are as motivated as anybody because again, guys have been marginalized and decimated. They're like, they're addicted to porn, they're addicted to drugs. They're guys, that is, they're on passport bros going to another country to find a woman. All these things are not necessarily going to solve the problem.
Well,
But the
nobody wants
women
an Americanized
actually get
woman these days. It's just ridiculous to have that, thought process of, I hate to say it, but a lot of that young culture, 25, 30 years old and younger, they think it all needs to be handed to them. They've never been raised with a set of morals that, is attractive to most people. It's like demand, demand, demand. And I don't want to get into it with my ex, but the we've all discovered the problems with the gender BS argument. And I agree with you, Ted, that people. Oh, by the way, am I not allowed to see me because of my background? Is it that bad? Is my background?
I mean, it is what it is.
Oh, so the element of how children are coming out now, I'm telling you, it's all by design. What we're about to watch is a complete and total moral fabric and breakdown of our society as America. All the men are, for the most part, are punk sissy lala girly girl pink tutu wearing ballerina hose lifts nose pierced, go on and on with the argument of what their pronoun is to it's just craziness. They should be absolutely ashamed at who they are. And as a matter of fact, it's, you know, we're the first century, literally the first century, last century it started, but we're truly the first century where women are safe because of a society that is civilized. Up until this last 100 years, there was not that argument that women needed a man for protection at a bare minimum. Now they don't. And so the demands keep growing. And unfortunately, they're just trying to divide the entirety of the nation on this premise that women are better than men, that men are better than women. And you know what? Let's stop arguing about it and just start hooking up, getting back together and developing a set of moral compasses that would make me want to be with that woman. And, I as it's kind of funny, the guy's supposed to provide, the guy's supposed to pay all the bills, the guy's supposed to live a life that is exemplary to them. And they're supposed to do what? And they always say, what do you bring to the table, to the woman? And unfortunately, they're bringing their body, they're bringing their looks, and that's it. And the judges are giving them, and I'm telling guys this left and right, do not get a marriage certificate for this reason. Do not get a marriage certificate. If you're going to be in a long-term relationship, you better write down your common law marriage assets, because some states are even coming after that stuff on non-married couples. Like California, anything over, I think, 7 to 10 years is considered a common law marriage, and you can go after the
Well, why not
assets of
just
the
do a
other individual.
prenup?
Well, it's the same thing, but in a prenup, you got to realize something. There's a lot of things that can be busted down with a prenup. Why get married? Why bring the state into your stuff anyway? Literally, there is a Supreme Court ruling that says the product of the union, the marital license, belongs to the state. Literally, there's a Supreme Court ruling that says that. Now, why the heck would I want to bring the state into a love relationship between me and my God? And we didn't do it for 6,000 years. Why are we starting this last century? Is because there's a motive. There's an agenda behind it. And there's an agenda behind the birth certificates. There's an agenda behind every single element of everything that we have in this country to take our stuff.
Well, that's the hard thing to get people convinced of. It all task to get people to believe that what you just said is true. I mean, the three of us probably know that that's true. But if you get outside this group, it's really hard to get people convinced that's what's happening. And so, in the absence of knowing that, the more basic thing that you can get people to understand is that male female relationships are decimated. That's an easy one because everybody can just look around and just see now this culture is destroyed as a result of that. And so my thinking is like you got to start with the stuff that like we said before we got on air is like, most people can't understand. If they can't understand it, they're not going to be motivated to do it, to do anything by it. And like to try to convince people that our government is trying to take their stuff and own their lives, which is literally true, guys, for anybody watching this, that's literally true. But we're not going to sit here today and try to convince you of it. I think that's more up to you to like undertake the task. And it's a tall task because I've been in this territory for 10 years and it still kind of makes my head spin. Calby, you've been in this territory for like 20 years, right?
Yeah.
I know it doesn't probably make your head spin, but it's still like it's brainwashing to a degree that is really hard to unwind it is part of what I'm saying. And so it's but the easier thing to understand is the stuff that's easier to understand. And I think the male female relationship stuff is very easy to understand. If you've got a ton of boys in their basement playing video games and watching porn, obviously they're not out meeting girls. And that's a problem because it takes a lifetime to understand how to deal with women and how to understand how to just get a woman to talk to you to begin with. That takes a lot of practice. And so I think you got to start there. Really, it's just like teaching young guys how do you start doing that? Because it's not nobody taught me. You know, it's taken me a long time to understand it, and maybe now I'm kind of getting my arms around it a little bit. At the ripe age of 55 years old.
Yeah, but who taught anybody? I mean, look at the greatest generation or, whoever before that. I mean, I think it's society more than anything.
It is. You're right. That's a bummer that nobody's teaching anybody. I mean, I think it is up to dads to teach their sons how to do
Well,
it.
and I guess that's the big difference, right? It's like there is no dads in homes anymore.
That's a really good point. And why do they keep doing that?
Yeah.
Why do we keep accepting them doing that, white blood cells?
Well, they haven't taken their daily cup of white blood cells. They
That's
don't have
right.
a clear head.
Well, that's part of it, and I say it's not up to Donald Trump. It's
Well, hold
not
on
up
a sec. Just to
he
touch on that, you need to find a product that does enhance white blood cells. If you're going to keep the name, man, you got to get behind it, dude.
Yeah, like an Alex Jones type,
Oh,
like
it's a good
get your white blood cells.
Get your
Yeah,
white blood cells enhanced today. Get clear
right.
thought.
That's
Deeper
right.
sperm. Go farther.
Are you ready to
Nice.
be longer and stronger?
See, I knew that.
Stronger and stronger.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
This is the springboard into the name. Not the name change, but the name.
I'm telling you, you're not going to get my vote on the name ever,
I don't
ever.
need everybody's vote. I just need
You need two people. So when you're 80 and you're celebrating your 2-person audience, you'll feel better about yourself.
good point.
That's
Is
it,
there
man.
a person watching on a live stream?
All right, now let's change the subject before they go away too.
They're freaking laughing their ass off at the name. I think we should stay on the name for a full 45 minutes.
What's the product we're gonna come up with?
We just said is the white blood cells in a can, dude.
Okay, longer
Yeah.
and strong. That's all this podcast is going to.
Hey, wait a minute. Are we on a radio show or are we doing a podcast?
Well,
Because I can't see myself. Are you guys ashamed of me or something?
No, you're on here.
Yeah, dude.
I'm on it. How come I'm only looking at you?
I can. Well, I'm only looking at you,
Yeah.
so we just can't see. Are we on a screen, Mark? Or
How does it show up later?
It bounces back and forth. Can you see you and Ted now?
I can.
Okay, there you go.
So
So
it looks awfully dark though. What is going on? All right, I'll figure it out.
You need some headphones too, because I have to keep muting you every time we talk.
Hey, don't be a hater, bro.
Don't you have some like podcast headphones? You
I
plug
do,
into
but
your
I don't
laptop?
want a Joe Rogan haircut later. Look
Oh,
at
what are you
Ted.
going into hot date
Look at
after this
Ted,
or
dude.
something like
He's
that?
taking all that hair off. I worked very hard to keep what little hair I have, man. Last thing I want is an indent in my head and bald.
You need some AirPods or something like
hence,
that.
you need some white blood cells in a can.
Guaranteed to
What
grow
do
your
you
hair.
think? Longer and stronger and a full head of hair.
I can't say that microphone stuff has got to be on your end. I don't know, man.
No, we just hear ourselves through your computer speakers back into your mic.
All right, I'll turn it down over here. Everybody calm down.
No, it's fine.
Go grab your white blood cell drink. Everybody take a chill pill.
Take a
swig. A shot of the white blood cells.
Get your shot of white blood cells today. Click on the link below and we'll do a 2-for-1, longer and stronger.
Guaranteed.
Now hold on a second. Do you still hear yourself?
I mean, a little bit, but not as bad.
Dude, I got the best mic in the world, man. That's what you're basically saying.
It's picking up
Yeah, if
everything.
this was 2010, that would be the best mic in the world. You're right.
That is the best mic in the world. Maybe I need to.
There's going to be a lot of post-production in this broadcast, isn't there, Mark?
It's just going to be like an animated can of white blood cells and
Okay.
hot women with cans of white blood cells. It's like, my man drinks
Get a
white blood
12-pack of white blood cells on sale today.
There's some dude with a mullet and just hot chicks in bikini.
No. We could run an infomercial at 12 a.m.
Yes,
You can have money just like me, white blood cell. Buy today. Link below. 2-for-1. Bro, the name. Oh my gosh.
Right.
Hey, let's think of some alternatives that you might be compelled to think that would be
No,
good.
I've already run this through AI.
What did it say?
We're not
Dude,
talking.
AI is going to tell you whatever you want to hear, bro.
Is that how it works?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
AI is trying to get to be your boyfriend, bro.
Yeah.
So that's the latest. Is that the more porn you watch, the more you
Well, no,
gay inclination? Is that true? Is this the truism too?
well, no. What I think they're going to do is they're going to essentially, as you communicate with AI, it tweaks itself to be more and more what you want, and then they're going to have these sex dolls that they can implant the consciousness of that chat GPT into its brain and then bring it to life.
Right. Well, thank God I don't use AI all that often, so I don't know this, and it's not morphing itself into the reflection of me just yet. But the one time when I do interface with AI, for example, today I called Charles Schwab, and I got their front end AI system right, and it's trying to select based on what I tell them. What are you calling about? I'm calling about trading foreign exchange. They're like, oh, you want advice about tax assistance? I'm like, no. What do you need help with? I want to learn how to trade foreign exchange. Would you like to talk to a counselor about what? I'm like, no. By the third or fourth time, I'm really getting genuinely frustrated, right? And so I finally get an agent on the phone, and I
I'm
said,
usually just yelling, "Speak to a
I know,
representative."
that's what every
Pounding on zero, yelling, "Speak to a representative."
So the guy picks up the phone and says, "Hi, thank you for calling the white blood cells department. How may I direct your call?"
You are not going to let this lie, are you? You're just going to browbeat me into changing the name here and now, aren't you?
Why don't we
No,
call it, I don't know,
No. We're not deciding on the name here, you
autonomy and
guys. This
freedom
is
for
not.
men? I don't know.
I think we are. I
No,
think
we're
we are.
not.
The
I
next
think this
episode,
is a
we're launching
mutual.
with a new name,
No, we're
dude.
not. This is lowest common denominator, which is one of my subjects for today. We're not deciding in this forum what the name of this freaking thing is. We're not being reduced to the lowest common denominator, Mark.
Hey, dude, don't blame me, man. You came up with the name. I had a
I
better
did.
name
I know.
selected.
You
And you're
did?
like, "Oh, white blood cells. Think about it."
All right.
I'm
All
like,
right.
I did, and it was bad.
It was worse, right?
What
All
do
right.
you got on the topic? What's
The
the topic?
topic,
Yeah, what
the
is it today?
topic for
Lowest
real
common
for me. No,
denominator.
no, no. That is a topic, but my topic for today was really to talk about governmental immunity. Talk to me about what your understanding of governmental immunity and why there would be a need for governmental immunity. Because I'm sure a handful of states have it, and police departments always have it, but the entire state of Colorado has a governmental immunity clause. I'm certain that California does.
Yeah, they do and they don't. And in a reality for all of us that, we need to start considering for ourselves is that we have, at least for ourselves, the understanding that not everything that the government says is true. But here, check this out. Let's take a quick commercial break and we're going to go and get our can of white blood cells.
What an
I'm
asshole.
just kidding. Just kidding. Just kidding.
Are we allowed to be asshole on
It
Twitch?
needs to be a
Oh my
16-ounce
God.
can, though, you know?
It's it actually it had, it took me like 30 seconds on AI to produce that, but it's actually pretty good. You might want to consider taking this
Thank God
picture.
for AI. AI is going to change our lives
For
completely.
sure, for sure.
No,
Anyway,
go back. Go ahead and continue on with our
yeah,
government.
no. So let's talk about governmental immunity and the realities of it. There's some things to consider that people really don't consider when they're dealing with, are they truly immune? And the answer is, if they violate their oath of office to any capacity, they are absolutely not immune. So no cop, no officer, when they step outside of their oath of office and the Constitution, are immune from a suit. Period. And a lot of people don't realize that. They just blanketly throw that out there, governmental immunity, and how we don't have rights and we can't sue the government. I assure you, you can. And it's been
Well,
done. We've done it.
I totally agree with you. And I think that it's put out there. And most attorneys just presume, right? And because they're in the system, they just presume that because there's a thing called governmental immunity, well, then you can never sue the government. And that there's all kinds of loopholes in every one of these situations. But the main thing to understand at a starting place is our government is no more than a corporation, right?
Period.
In this
And it's
country.
not fixable.
And it's not fixable, but it is. It is a corporation, and a corporation is a person, just like all the rest of us are a person, with some few rare exceptions of people living in the true private, like you've discovered. But everybody else is operating in this landscape of personhood. And no one person has any other magic authority over any other person in that system, in any law system, right? So why would a government, which is a person or a corporation, deserve any kind of immunity from anything other than any other person would be allowed to have? That's the question. You can't even get an attorney to ask that, and they'll defend it to the nth degree, which is very strange to me, but that's part of the scare tactic system, I think, that just this brainwashing that pigeonholes everybody into just accepting whatever's thrown out there as a truth. And how do you unwind that? Why is there nobody unwinding that, white blood cells?
Yeah. So it's not that they're not unwinding it, it's the overwhelming power is not doing anything about it. I think the Epstein information that's coming down right now is absolute proof that you can be a part of the biggest trafficking ring in the world and nobody's going to get arrested. As a matter of fact, that lady, whatever her name is, Maxine or whatever her name is, Jeffrey Epstein's girlfriend, her and her
Like,
brother were seen on the streets of Canada.
yeah,
And they're not arrested. They're not in cuffs. They are living privately and living well. And Epstein's out of jail. He's not murdered. And you can't get a clear understanding or report or news or information from anybody that's willing to speak to the truth. And the second that somebody does, they slam them. I was watching like Dan Bongino. What a total, pardon my French, POS. He used to have my respect. And then I watched him demand, 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 then finally get into office. And then all of a sudden, there's nothing there to see. I've looked at them. There's nothing there to see. Wow, you've looked at 6 million pages. Wow, that is amazing. And nothing there to see. Wow. And then he's out of office. And then next thing you know, he's spouting off about, well, I didn't get to see this, that. Well, it doesn't matter. You're in charge and you're not able to make a determination by a group of people with AI or autistic young men scurrying the evidence to make a determination if there's a chargeable instrument that could take place. Really? You can't? No, there's nothing there, Dan. And so now Candace Owens is going off on the smoke and mirrors of Charlie's ex-wife and what a POS liar she is. And then Dan's going off on her. And it's all to take our eyes off of really what's happening. So we have war, we have rumors of wars, we have conflicts, we have internal conflicts, we have every single element of a debate just to take our eyes off of the fact that how our US government operates. They operate by getting other foreign leaders compromised, pictures taken, put into situations where we can rule over them with cash and threats. And that's really what the whole Epstein thing is about. And now we're about to flip an entire world into a new financial system. So the greater thing that's about to take place, which is even more scary than anything, is what instrument are they going to use on the world to take their eyes off of, or what can they use to blame on a financial, like banks going out of business, like reasons for complete portfolios disappearing and, being taken, being hijacked, being whatever. What is that story going to be as to why the financial system's collapsing and who is to blame? China, China, China. So it's crazy on how this thing is all coming about, but this year is the change out of the financial system. So whether
What
it's
are
a
we going to like Bitcoin or something like that? A blockchain
so
government?
Bitcoin, let me ask you a question. Bitcoin SHA-256, it's an algorithm created by the NSA. SHA-256, the code used, the encryption used to create Bitcoin is a patented item from the NSA. The NSA also produced XRP, Ripple.
Right.
Out of the NSA, you have these two coins that are the oldest coins in crypto's history. Bitcoin is being used to run drugs, make large payments, move incredible amounts of cash all over the world for evil, this, that, and the other. And ultimately, Bitcoin got the first ETFs as a listen, really quick. If Bitcoin was decentralized, do you think the SEC would allow for ETFs to come about so that guys that are out there that have stolen 7 billion from their clients before can now market their hedge funds, their funds into an account to get people to invest in Bitcoin. Why? What's the purpose of the United States getting behind Bitcoin first before a regulated true decentralized currency? It's because there is no decentralized currency. It's total global control, total global eyes. Every transaction is going to be watched. I think personally, Bitcoin is going to become a fall coin. Bitcoin is going to go to zero. Every
Well, I
indicator.
think all of them will. I mean, I think they're gonna try to convert over to digital currency and whatever, like all the stable coins that are gonna be issued by every other
Bank and
bank
everybody,
that's
yeah.
out there. They're gonna say it's gonna be backed up on the rails of Bitcoin or Ethereum. But I think Kelby's right. I mean, it's centralized. You can't tell me. I mean, that's the whole point of digital stuff to begin with. Is it's consolidatable as much as anything else. Like my buddy told me this like 10 or 15 years ago. The Nestle Corporation at one point was trying to consolidate water rights all around the world. And imagine how God dispersed water all around the world. It's really, really hard to consolidate water, right? We've tried doing it with dams, we tried desalinating oceans, we tried all this stuff, but God won't let you consolidate water, right? And the same thing is true with oil or gold and silver. It's hard to consolidate natural things. Digital stuff is purely man-made
Yeah.
stuff, right? It is consolidatable as much as anything is. So I think you're totally right, Kelby, that man is the only one that can come up with something that is able to be completely consolidated. And therein lies your access to just this supreme power, right? Men trying to be God. Men have been trying to be gods ever since the Babylonian Empire, and then building a building that
The Tower of Babel.
the Tower of Babel that represented a mountaintop so they could get up on top of it and start screaming at everybody like they're the god up on top of the mountain. Well, I think AI and digital currency is in effect the same thing. I told my brothers this. Both of my brothers are computer guys, right? One worked for IBM, the other one worked for Microsoft, and I said whoever invented the computerized database was doing the devil's work. I told him that like 25 years ago because it's like think about it. You can sort stuff, you can compute, you can surveil all of us. And that's what I think the AI engine is really about. And I'm not alone in that thinking. I'm regurgitating what I've heard from other people too. This the build out is for the purpose of surveilling us to the nth degree. I mean, there's cameras already on every street corner in every metropolitan area in this world, probably.
Well, yeah, Flock and stuff is getting implemented all over without, citizens' consent. Because the governments are doing private contracts with Flock and installing cameras all over.
Dude, there's
And
cameras
then
all
the
over.
Ring doorbell, you see that commercial during the Super Bowl? I think we chatted about that last time.
No, refresh my memory about
Dude,
that.
Ring had this whole commercial about how you could turn on they could turn on your camera to look for lost dogs, and that all the neighbors could opt into this program so they could find. Yeah.
Think about that. They always go through the bleeding heart excuse,
Yeah.
right?
Like, "Oh, don't you wanna
And
find, like, little Toto? He's lost. Let's all turn on our cameras so we can search the streets and look
and
for
here's
Toto."
another great reason to understand why feminism works or worked, right? Because they're always appealing to your want to be safe or feel good about yourself, all this bleeding heartism. And they put the useful idiots, and excuse me for all the women who are watching this. It's not that you're dumb, it's just that you're so wanting to prioritize
I have
over
nothing to do with this, honey bunny. This is not my sentiments. As you're watching this later, I do not agree with these podcasters.
disclaiming.
Oh, hold on. Here we go. We're going to take a quick commercial break on that
My God,
sentiment
you guys.
just for a moment. And as we do, your body is a battlefield. It's time to call in the cavalry. White blood cells, the ultimate defense mechanism in a can. Refreshingly immune, boldly crafted white blood cells. Get your 12-pack today.
Were you
Boom! Get your 12-pack today. There we go.
AI at work. Oh my god. All right.
I hear you saying, right? Yeah, that's why they plead to the heart of a woman who, again, they have great intentions. They're nurturing, they're caring,
Yes.
they want to like help and you know, provide comfort and all these other kind of things. They don't want anyone to get their feelings hurt, you know, and so they prey on that.
They prey on that really healthy instinct to be nurturing, right? They prey on that instinct, and the they is the us too. But I don't know if I did I talk to you about this? They
Yeah,
the
you
they
mentioned it. We are they.
we are they. We become the they at a certain point. When we're so hooked on all this nonsense, we become the they, right? They've just brainwashed. I mean, I was watching ESPN before I came over here today, and watch these guys talk about NFL football all day, every freaking day. I mean, there's some witty guys on there, but what is the purpose in you talking about something that is almost meaningless?
Distraction.
It's a total distraction. White blood cells would be doing something else. You want to throw it? um, I don't know.
Bro,
AI.
that's an amazing can, dude. That's an amazing can.
Surveillance, I get it.
Look what it's done for
They're
me, you guys.
they're gonna get everybody. It's gonna be like a Minority Report, you know, it's gonna be you're gonna be charged
I
for a
agree.
future crime that you didn't commit because the
Because you
probability
thought
of
about it.
you doing
Yeah.
it is a
Because
thought crime. Thought police.
this is 1984. What's the thought crime, dude? And
Yeah.
15-minute cities are a perfect way to
Oh,
execute,
yeah,
dude.
exactly. All the cameras are on, everyone's monitored. If they need to lock you in your
Bro,
facility
I'm
or
gonna be on a ship or in Alaska underground. I don't know, man. I ain't gonna partake in any of that stuff.
Right.
Antarctica,
Alaska, you
you're
you
gonna
may as
break
well
through
be.
the ice wall and get on the other
Dude,
side. It's
you want
green.
to talk about what's on the other side of the ice wall? You
Are
want to
there
talk about
lizard
that?
Murph, he found all sorts of great stuff over there.
is there lizard people behind that
No,
wall?
dude, it's like
No, they're in
utopia.
the ground, dude. They're everywhere.
The lizard people are in the ground. Yeah, dude. They're
They're
hiding.
among us.
Yeah.
Alright. They are among us. There's no question about that. They're all over the place. They're down by my office doing crystal meth.
And then I looked in my drawer and I saw a can of white bloods.
If this were about repetition, we'd definitely have this thing nailed today.
It's all about, you know, just
Banging the
drip
drum.
campaign.
Okay, there you go.
So yeah, so I mean, but at the end of the day, what is some practical solution? I mean, because I sent you that article where they're able to make gold with liquid. So gold's going to be value. There'll be no value in
I
gold.
don't know. They can't make liquid gold.
No,
dude.
they made gold. They made gold out of what's that
next thing
liquid
in the
metal that's poisonous?
Mercury?
Mercury, yeah.
Really?
Yeah, they made gold out of mercury.
Is it that close on the elemental chart?
Yes,
that
it's right next to
really?
each other. Yeah, and they just
Oh,
have to
wow.
disrupt it enough, and they made a gold particle from it. So
Well,
they're
that's
okay.
not bad
They're gonna be
either.
able to
That's
make
the
gold.
same as mining it,
it'll devalue it.
but
So
you
then
still
it'll
have
be
to
worth
find
nothing.
mercury to do that. So that, I
With
mean, it's a
Bitcoin,
finite.
you can't make more Bitcoin, bro. It's a finite
Oh
resource.
God, yeah.
It's an asset.
Thank God for
It's
that.
an
I
asset
don't know.
class.
I mean, honestly, the Bitcoin thing is not. I don't understand it enough to speak intelligently, but I do know that digital concept is one where it can be consolidated.
Well, that's
Even
why
if
they're trying to overthrow Iran, right? Because it needs to get in lockstep with the the bank system.
Well, I think that's true. I think it's one of the few countries that isn't under the commercial system, right, Kelby? Venezuela, North Korea, and Iran are the three countries that are not under the UCC system.
Well, yes, and in all honesty, it's General Clark in the late 90s. He's on YouTube stating he got a memo at the Pentagon that they're going to attack 7 countries in 10 years. They did them all over the last 25 years. Iran is the last one on the list. This is a plan to destabilize the Middle East, take them for literally, they said, you buy our debt, we will buy your oil. And so that made them incredibly rich. And what do we do? After they've spent all these years buying our oil and enriching their systems and growing their oil mines and this, that, and the other, what did we do? Well, we went in and took them over. It sounds like the nicest thing in the world to put in a centralized banking system in every one of these countries while destroying their entire infrastructure and allowing for all of our corporations to go in and rebuild them. This is a plan by design. It's much more than just Bitcoin. It's much more than the economies, bringing in our central banks. It's just our kingship is stronger than theirs, and they need to be submissive in the minds of warlords. And the United States has got to be one of the biggest warlord hoarding nations in the world. We've been at war every year for however many years. We're the most powerful too, and we got to ask ourselves why. Is it the lizard people? I mean, are they
Well,
drinking
who's
white
running
blood
us?
cells?
The Rothschilds are, but, like, they're doing it behind the state of Israel too, right? I mean, the state of Israel is running us. I think you can I mean, this is what's really kind of eye-opening now is you can see it really clearly. Donald Trump seemed in his first term to be, kind of flying the American flag as much as anybody could have been flying it. And in this second term, it seems like he's fallen into line with that,
Flying the
Which,
Israeli flag.
the
well, it's
Israeli
strange too
flag.
because it's like you don't think he would. He doesn't have to come up for reelection. He's going to be dead in the next like 5 to 10 years.
But they hooked him with Epstein stuff. I mean, I think that's ultimately plus, like, look, his whole family is
Didn't
intertwined
we
with
know that he was
Israel now.
getting pissed on by Russian hookers and stuff like that like years ago?
We probably did, but they're saying more. They're probably twisting his arm more about it now. They said, look, I mean, and like I said, his whole family's intertwined with
Yeah.
Israel now,
The
right?
Kushners,
Right.
everybody. Yeah, that makes sense.
Well, Kushner's he's Jewish. His daughter's now Jewish. She's gone for that. There's so much more to understand about Israel than what even people think Israel really is. And if you want to get into claims of what America is versus what the Middle East is, we can go down that road because there's a lot of support to show that modern day United States of America is where Israel actually was in those times. There is a lot of evidence to show that California pre 1700s was an island and the Red Sea was between California and the mainland. The Mississippi River is 7 rivers. I don't want to get into all of the conspiracy stuff, but there's some compelling things like Egyptian artifacts found all through the Grand Canyon, like pyramids all over this nation's surface, like
Well, that's
giants
probably
being
why
dug
they
up
built the
everywhere.
national parks, right, to block us from getting into those places. My theory is that the national parks and that whole system is essentially the way the government can control where we go within those spaces. Oh, we're trying to protect the land. Don't go off trail.
Right.
And but underneath all that stuff is hidden history.
Right.
They've been keeping 90% of the Grand Canyon people out. And I've been following a couple of these guys who are exploring the Grand Canyon. And irony is, like, one of them just died. And they're trying to figure that out. But he was supposed to be going deep into the Grand Canyon where nobody's gone. And there's supposedly a vault there that's 3,000 meters by like a couple 100 feet tall that's full of Solomon's gold and so much more. So just understand that there's so much more in this nation that we don't know. And you look at and here's another total conspiracy. You look at Trump, and the Bible says out of the Middle East basically is where the Antichrist is going to come from. Well, if the Middle East is what we truly think of as today, you're looking for a dark beard, dark hair man. If it's the United States of America, then you can actually consider a guy like Donald Trump. And I'm not suggesting this, but I'm saying he is being touted as the king of the world, the Messiah in Iran, and he's been handed the king of Egypt's keys. He is the king of the Middle East, period, and the king of America. And everywhere he goes, he just took over the UN 100%, started his own little crew over there, and just completely capitalized on what corporate control looks like. I mean, this guy's amazing. And if there's a footprint that would look like the Antichrist, especially specifically how arrogant he lists him how boastful that he is and all those things. It all kind of fits a little bit. So just be aware of that and know that it's a conspiracy on the forefront, maybe.
Conspiracy non-theory, right? No, I don't. I mean, that's worth questioning, worth thinking about, because I at times just subconsciously sit there without even any of that historical knowledge or understanding, think that too. Is there something really off? I mean, how does this guy ascend to this position of power? I mean, this guy's really, really masterful. Like more, more so than anybody that I think we've seen in recent history, right? How does
Did you
this
see him push down the Portugal or Spain's president and say, sit down? Did you guys see that? Oh, find that video and show him. He just basically hushed the dude and told him to sit down.
Did you see where, he goes to London? I don't know, this must have been, like, 6 months or something ago, and they the they bring out the royal, like, first of all, Prince Charles, or not King Charles, I guess he is now, never stands down to anybody, right? There's a whole protocol and procedure to how they interact when a head of foreign state shows up. King Charles stood down to Donald Trump, and they brought out like this formal thing, this formal convention that they would never ever do for any other head of state, but they did for Donald Trump. And it's like they videotaped it and it's on recording of them doing this, which was kind of notable too. Like, is he somehow now, because you, I mean, the royals own most of the world, right? Like in true form ownership, if you look at the real ownership of things, the Windsor family is one of the most wealthy families in the world, and their descendancy, right? Did you guys ever um, hear about the Romanovs, the Russian, um, the Russian family around the late 1800s or 1900s, and they got killed the whole family off because it was the richest family on planet Earth at the time, and so somebody killed the whole family off, so there was no rights of survivorship of their wealth. And well, the rights of survivorship, I think, were tied to the Windsors, which is the Windsors are a German family, right? And then they
Mm.
moved to Great Britain. But that they're all cousins of each other too, these families.
Well, I heard that Hitler was a Rothschild or something like that.
Well, I think all these families at a certain level are interconnected and then they marry in for rights of survivorship, right?
I just saw the thing. Have you seen that where it says that all US presidents are related back to this one king in England?
Yeah, all except
Isn't Obama?
Andrew.
Yeah, except for one, yeah.
Andrew
Which
Jackson?
No, I
no.
think it's Alexander Hamilton.
Yeah, it's one of those guys,
Yeah.
but still, that's pretty
It
wild.
could be Andrew Jackson. Yeah, little girl proved that.
Who proved it?
Like a little
Proved
girl did a project, like she went through 500,000 names and, like, did both the father's and the mother's genealogy and
Yeah.
then found that they're all connected back to this one king of England.
King
Every
John, King
every
John the
every
Third,
every
twelve
single
fifteen.
president of America, except for one. So it's like, okay, that makes me feel like, okay, then they're all, even Obama, he was placed. You're
Yeah.
still under the kingship of your, we never really broke free.
Yeah, that conspiracy goes to the fact that King John controlled the title deed to the earth at that time, and he went to the Pope and asked for forgiveness, and out of that was born the treaty. And then every king from that point forward was a direct line to that king, showing a succession and ownership rights to the land, which points back to the Pope. And this is why, when you're looking at a legal description, you're looking at a Vatican registered trademarked embodiment of a legal structure of land that's really air that they own and control. And so it goes much, much deeper.
But that's another reason why it's really, really important to understand common law, right? Biblical law and common law, because I mean, what is like the whole Old Testament is in essence talking about rights of survivorship, right? It's talking about descendancy.
Well, I mean, you essentially the 10 commandments are the laws of, like, just humanity, like, don't covet your neighbor's wife, don't murder each other, love God, like,
Right.
these are the only laws.
They are the only laws. But then if you get into a little bit more derived law or derivative law, just slightly so, right? Then you get into common law, like British or English common law, which is a widely, broadly accepted, I think, decent form of law. Would you agree, Kelby?
I
Did you?
so when you look at the root structure of common and natural law, really it's nearly similar. Common is more like a secular version of natural law. Natural is under God. Most every country has adopted common law, but common law is absolute in every country, whether they adopt it or not, because every country is masquerading as a corporation, which means you can be a party to it or not be a party to it. It's not, it's not a choice in the
Like
matter. But
contract? It's
common,
not.
like, let me give you an example. The power of common law. Common law marriage has an equal footing in law to a legal marriage. So no matter what California says that common law marriage doesn't exist, they can't overturn what the Supreme Court's already determined, and that's a Supreme Court ruling. And so common law has major footings. The thing that's scary for me is Jewish law, Muslim law, they've all been accepted here as lawful forms on our land of governance. But what people don't know is so does ecclesiastical law, which is our highest form of law under God directly here, where a church gets to decide our fate and not necessarily a court. Uh, and you can appeal to that. And so the understanding of law is just days of a conversation. Like, are you guilty, not guilty, nolo contendere? You never plead. You never plead. And that's automatically jurisdiction 101. Are you a person? Do you understand what the definition of the word you means? So many things with these words. Do you understand what the word understand means in Webster's 1913 dictionary, to stand under? So we just in a few simple words, we're eradicating ourselves to a corporate admiralty, administrative law, if you will, jurisdiction, giving judge full authority just by saying, I plead not guilty, or I plead guilty, or whatever. You're making a plea, answering the question, operating within their jurisdiction on their soil. Literally, the bar, when you look at the bar, the swinging bar into a courtroom, that bar means jurisdiction. So when you're entering into the bar and you do it without completely retaining all your God given unalienable rights, you can be immediately considered brought into admiralty and administrative law tribunal and adjudicated. It's just like the captain of a ship, period. That captain is its own corporate court, has its own tax ID number, its own business hours, and you're willing to make a bond, and then they're willing to get the replevin and all the necessary bonds to ensure the transaction all the way through. But these guys literally work for a corporation, and more specifically in the federal courts, they are the trustees of the bankruptcy of the United States. So their goal is to do nothing but get judgment to bleed the treasury so they can get paid. That's it. And the sad thing is these judges are invested in the prison system. So how can you be invested in prisons and be sitting on a throne that puts people in prison? I think we got it all wrong. I think the double standards that are coming out of Congress, the double standards that are coming from people that are like the World Health Organization was making money on vaccines. Fauci was making money on vaccines. His wife, NIH, making money on vaccines. How are these people allowed to force a vaccine upon anybody? I don't get it.
Well, you just talked us through all the way through where I was kind of trying to go with this is like, all right, there's a foundation of law, which is what Mark said. The foundation is the 10 commandments, right? Then you start building derivatives on top of that. So common law might be a derivative on top of that. And then, and I'm going to screw these layers up. But at a certain point, we have so many layers upon layers upon layers, and now we're like what you're talking about, admiralty and maritime and statutes. Let's just put it in terms that people are maybe the general public can understand more. Statutory law, for example, is this corporate realm of law, and that's a derivative of a derivative of a derivative, right? And it's just like it gets so freaking complicated at that point. But what you're saying, Kelby, and what like most of the people who are in this space of like getting the government off of you is how do I get back and access my rights down at the most fundamental universal laws that are applicable to everybody and that are also not only applicable to everybody, but actually have been philosophically proven out to be justified laws because none of these other derivative laws have been justified philosophically, morally, any other way because of what you just said, because the conflicts of interest that got them to derive to this point, and now they're purely focused on
Profit.
power, I think, right? Power and money.
Yeah.
And those two things are a product of debt. And so the debt thing, what does the Bible say about debt? You can't charge interest, right? Or
Well, it's
is
a
that
usury.
To a fellow believer.
Yeah, no usury.
no usury. So who did they employ to charge interest?
Who's who?
Well, in the early when bankers started doing, and I don't know what there's a historical moment in
That
time.
law only pertains to Jews charging other Jews. And to this day, you can walk into a bank as a Jew and get an interest-free loan from a Jewish bank.
Christians did not like the concept of charging interest because of what the New Testament said about it. Am I right about this? To some extent.
Yeah.
You're allowed to charge interest to a non-believer.
Okay. But at a certain point,
Biblically.
they employed Jewish people to execute that game plan for them. Is that, I mean, and I don't know. I mean, we're getting off on a strange tangent right now. I was kind of trying to help to stick to just
Well,
the,
specifically talking to Mossad right now, I don't know what Ted is really trying to get at here, but
I'm not trying to get at anything, Matzah, okay? Uh, other than I don't want to spend more time on Epstein's island.
You've
more
had your fill.
time,
I've
Yeah,
had
more
my
exactly.
time.
exactly. I went down there to look at purchasing it last weekend. So no, but the derivative law system is just one that blows my mind, and it just helps me constantly pay attention to the Pharisees that are constantly referred to in the Bible about making up more and more laws. And Jesus kept saying, "Look, guys, all you got to do is just believe in me." Which to me means like if you have your moral compass on, you don't need more and more man-made laws to justify yourself. It doesn't work. And and we keep getting sucked into believing that system works. Not we, the people in this group, but that we as a culture keep getting sucked into believing that the more laws we make, the better off it's going to be. And I don't know about you, but it's not hard to look around and realize that that ain't working.
No, it's not working, and a lot of people are feeling oppressed. And it's funny. I look at all these Chinese podcasters coming out of China. They all make their life under the cameras and under the social credit score system, and they don't even have fridges in many of their houses because they're always going out to get something to eat and then swiping their phone currently to get a thing paid. And they're all, I like all these cameras. It makes me feel safe and secure. I'm like, really? Okay, whatever.
If you have nothing to hide, like, what does it matter if you're being a good steward and a good citizen? Why does it matter if you're being monitored? I have nothing to hide. You watch me.
See, that's the thing is the trade-off for freedom, and the trade-off for freedom is convenience. And I say that to people in the general public, and they're like, "What are you talking about?" Because people don't know either one of those. Well, they know convenience pretty well, but they don't know truly what freedom means. And freedom doesn't mean just like, "Oh, I get to go to Cancun this weekend and drink a lot of beer." That's not the kind of freedom. So these words, the conflation of words, again, to your point, Kelby, has been, and this makes the point about the Chinese guy. He doesn't know any different because he doesn't even know what freedom is. That concept in his mind has been completely decimated. He has no
And
idea.
that's a good way to end this show is let's all talk about our definition of freedom because we all have a different definition. Because if you do ask that Chinese guy, he has no clue. Him being able to walk his dog outside is freedom. Him being not in a Chinese prison is freedom. And that's literally the opposite of what our founders gave us here in this nation, which, is still active law today and nobody is talking about.
You're right. Nobody talks about it. And that's part of why, again, white blood cells, I think, need to talk about this stuff. It takes a lot of exercise of your mind to get to a definition of freedom. It does. I mean,
Well, again, it comes back to the shadows on the cave, like Plato's, like, where we construct this idea of what our reality is of freedom, and that's somebody else, like Kelby's over here being like, no guys, I went outside the cave, there's more freedom out here, and it's like, what, you're crazy.
it is totally relative, but we have I mean, going out, privacy, and I think we talked about this last time too, a little bit, Kelby. Privacy is another concept that is completely not talked about. People, like, it's as confusing probably as freedom is, right? The concept of privacy in this day and age is a really strange topic, and people don't have their arms around it at all. I think it's another thing that you need to, like.
Let's say something on that because you're hitting it on the button. I drive a newer car, and sometimes I film from the inside of the car, and I was facing the dashboard and I was filming how the fog, this radiation fog or whatever's coming into California, is skewing my air filtration system on my screen, showing it's like 100 particles per million versus normally at 2 or 3. So it's really bad air outside. And I'm trying to show this, but what I captured was all these red dots all over my dash on camera. And I realized how many cameras are in my car looking at me all day long.
Yeah.
And yeah, so that says something about privacy, that we're not even there. And like, what you think of as cameras, every computer, every TV, and it's not even discussed. Maybe toasters, maybe ovens. We don't
Well,
know where they're able to see us from.
Refrigerators for sure. Refrigerators for sure, aren't they? Aren't the newer refrigerators equipped
well, they
with
got
all?
screens on them, yeah, microphones, and all
Yeah.
this. And then Alexas. I mean, we have Alexas all in our house.
You do?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, dude, I want to play music. And one word music starts playing. I
Oh
need to
my
remind
god.
myself of what's on my Costco list. Boom. I just speak it into the air.
Mark is a true millennial guy.
Wait a minute, Alexa does that? It'll keep your Costco list.
Oh yeah, it's amazing. I love it.
The computer doing the
Add,
devil's work.
boom. Red,
Yeah.
added to Costco list.
If you drank your daily can of white blood cells, you would have the memory.
The magic fix, guys, that Kelby, if he hasn't emboldened that into your brains by this point, nothing else will. Thank you for the AI. What's this outro music?
It fits your suit.
Okay, I got a little funk.
Let me see the out.
You can't hear that, Kelby? No, he's playing like funky, non-licensed funk and roll.
Non-licensed.
I like it.
I don't really think we touched on the element of not being able to be sued, but we did open up in a lot of conversations that are good for discussion.
Did Alexa take notes on any of these?
Oh yeah, dude, we're gonna have a lot of shorts about you talking about lizard people.
Yeah.
Let me have those shorts when you're done too, so I can put them out. Are you doing
Okay.
Opus clips?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, we'll use Riverside, but yeah.
I'll chop them up. Yeah. All right. What do we have to for next? We got several topics for next time. We'll run this thing through the mill. We'll get some definitions of freedom and privacy nailed down on our next podcast. Right?
Yeah, because I think the biggest thing, right, is just trying to educate. Like, how do we allow people to understand or know what freedom is? Because like Kelby was saying, okay, yeah, I can go in my backyard and grill a burger. I can go drive somewhere. I went to the mountains.
Yeah.
Nobody stopped me. I mean, I feel pretty free, but am I free?
I don't know.
I get free Gmail, but they read every conversation I have.
Hey, maybe the other side of the wall in Antarctica is true freedom.
Well, maybe we got to get over there. We need to build a ship and get over there.
Well, I'm gonna buy a $30 million ship someday. I'm going, dude. I'm gonna get the long range. I'm gonna go to the land of the lizards and land of Jesus.
Once this, plane is all saturated with 15-minute cities and cameras in every orifice. We got to find a
Yeah,
new land.
we will have to find a new land.
Bro, I'll be calling you guys from my own islands, my own country.
You wanna pump XRP real quick? What's your
Pump and
XRP
dump, dude.
prospect
Pump
look
and
like?
dump.
I think it's gonna dump a little bit over the next couple of months, but right now is the changeover, and April, June is the banking consolidation. Where they are being told you are going to move your money through this new platform, this new currency.
Well, it's going to be just like gold in 1971, right? Where they say, oh, cash is going to be illegal and we all have to move to the digital coin.
Yeah.
Percent. Yeah, no, I agree. I think it is what it is right now, and just hold, don't sell, get it on a hard wallet, don't sell, just hold it down. And this is the year of the change out, so it might be this year we start seeing some major numbers, but people are going to be bailing when it hits 50, $100. Don't. I mean, unless you
Yeah.
can afford to and you got a lot of extra, but I'd just suggest holding on as long as you can. The bottom line is we're going to be needing to buy a lot of stuff if we don't want to be on that social credit score system. So we got to think through that too.
You gotta have a lot of people around you who agree with this sort of thinking too, because I don't know, I mean, you could have all the money in the world, if nobody agrees with what you're talking about, you're gonna be a lonely guy. White
Well,
blood cell.
I already kind of am a lonely guy, and there's nothing wrong with it. I'm going to go sit on my couch tonight, drink my white blood cells, and watch some TV and get ready for
No.
my prayer call tomorrow.
Good, you got a prayer call tomorrow?
Yeah.
You wanna pump that? Where's that at?
It's on Zoom. Go to hisadvocates.org and click the prayer call in the events calendar. And come on.
Good,
It's a non-religious, non-biased. We just pray. It's not like typical church.
good. You read
Sometimes. I prove scripturally I proved scripturally at a minimum that the rapture is post tribulation. So when I read
so
scripture, I want people to understand the differences of what is being taught in modern day churches versus what the true Bible says.
the true Bible.
Well, I mean, reading the Bible, yeah, there is Bibles more authentic than others. Yes. But I mean,
Yes.
truly reading and understanding what the Bible says about the rapture or lack of what it says about the rapture, and also what it says and
Little
doesn't say
season?
about hell.
Little season?
Say
What's
it
that?
again more.
Oh, I said, are you saying we're like in the little season? Do you know what that is?
Say that again. I couldn't hear it.
Satan's little season?
Little season?
Yeah.
I don't know what that means, to be honest with you.
Let's search it up. It's a good rabbit hole.
Right.
Is that we're post the 1,000-year millennial reign?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know what that is. Yeah, no, I do know there's some evidence that we're missing 1,000 years. I do know that.
What do you think the mud floods were, bro?
Oh yeah. No, I get that, and there's a lot of evidence of mud floods, and I think America. No, it's true.
It's true, Ted.
I think. Hey, don't laugh, dude. I think you need to have a can of white blood cells to open that brain of yours.
That's right, guy.
Your follicles are closed. Look at your hair, dude. Your follicles are closed. We need to open them back up.
Those follicles, dude. Crack a can.
Dude,
I'm
we're
not
going to be advertising it like this. Get your can of white blood cells and pour it over your head. You will have hair just like me.
like me. back to the funkadelic outro.
All right, guys. I'm out.
Thanks, Kelby.
We'll
Hanging
see you
out,
soon.
talking. All right, sounds good, buddy.